Hey everybody, it's Justin getting back to you after all this time. And today I wanted to talk about why the no contact rule doesn't work at all. Well, that's probably not true. It probably will work somewhat, but I really honestly think that it doesn't actually work at all. What's my reasoning about that? Well, first of all, there's a lot of online coaches and a lot of coaches in general out there. You got Coach Corey Wayne, you got Coach Lee, you got that other English coach, you got Lucia from The Art of Love, you got especially Coach Lee, and then Brad Browning. Oh, you got to do the no contact. You got to do the no contact. And these coaching people, they actually they come out of the woodwork, and they've been around for years, a lot of them, including Lucia, and most definitely Coach Corey Wayne. And then Coach Lee says he's been around a lot longer than that too. I don't know, but they all claim that you have to go no contact, you have to go no contact to get your ex back. And most of the time these kind of things are driven for guys looking to get their ex-girlfriend back. And most of the time, a lot of the other ones too are for women trying to get their boyfriends back. And then there's Love Advice TV too, with all those coaches, and they go into great detail about certain things. And then a new guy I like watching, he's pretty interesting, but he has all kinds of other quirky other videos. Is what's his face again too? Is Clay, or whatever his name is too. So he goes, "Hey man, I'm Clay. I'm here to talk to you guys about no games. We'll get your ex back with no games and no mind tricks and all this other stuff too." He's a pretty interesting guy too. He has a lot of very sensible tactics, but at the same time though too, it's pretty much all the same. So I'm actually going to do some more videos on some certain topics, even though in my videos I talk a lot about healthcare a lot of the times, but I'm going to touch on that. So going back to what I'm saying is why I feel the no contact rule doesn't work at all, and all these coaches publicize that it works and you have to go no contact for it works. Okay, let's just stop here for a second, and people, don't bombard me with stupid comments and stuff saying, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. It worked for me." Well, that's great. I'm glad that, you didn't talk to your ex for a long time and they finally got back to you. Okay, so let's analyze the situation here. And some coaches will talk about this, and coming from the mindset of a guy, especially when it comes to a woman, okay? So a lot of coaches, not Coach Corey Wayne, he mentions it once in one video, but Lucia and the Love Channel, they mention this with their female coaches when they talk to guys about women's mindsets. Okay, so you're in a relationship. You're a man in a relationship with a woman. Okay, so a woman's mindset, she starts pulling away earlier in the relationship. Now, mind you, this is where I call the fake breakup, or they call it the fake breakup, where they're going to break up with you. And the mindset of the woman is that for a long time, probably for up to a period of a couple months in the relationship, let's say you've had a relationship for about a year, and for the last couple months, she's been thinking, well, he's not doing what I want anymore. He's not pleasing me. He's not conversing with me. Like, a lot of the relationship is starting to go downhill, and the guy doesn't see that. And the woman starts pulling away, and then eventually when they pull away, the guy's not actually doing the things necessary to fix the problem, and he doesn't see it. And all of a sudden it's a big shock when she's like, "I just want to break up. I want to be done with the relationship." She kicks him out the door. And then about 2 weeks later, maybe a month later, if you do go no contact, she's calling you back. And then she's like, "Let's work things out. Let's get back together." Or the guy's like begging for her back. And at that point too, she's like, "Wow, fuck, this is no good. I don't want to be the alpha in the relationship." And then she'll take him back and test the waters out for a period of time. This is the point where I actually, and the coaches don't say this, where I call it the probation period. She's putting you on probation. So she's going to give you another chance. You're on probation, like you've gone to jail, you're on probation. Obviously you've done something wrong. And then she'll go on and test the waters, and she'll think, well, let's give him another chance and see what happens, to see if he changes his tune. And most of the time, guys don't change their tune. They fall back into those old habits, and then the second breakup happens anywhere down the line. Could be months, could be shorter than that, could be like weeks. It just depends on how the guy gets his shit together. And then she finally breaks up with him, and she's the dumper and the guy is the dumpee. Okay, so the coaches talk about this too. At that point, the couple is done, everything is done, and then the no contact period begins. Okay, so let's stop right there now. Now she's done in her mind already, okay? And going back to what I'm saying about some of these coaches you mentioned, in a woman's mindset, no contact, and this is where no contact will not work, and it is a definite for sure. If she has already gotten over you, and then she obviously broke up and did the fake breakup before, she's already gotten over you for sure this time. So you're starting the grieving process, and meanwhile she doesn't have any feelings anymore. She's buried them, and to the point where she's not interested in being in a relationship anymore with you too. She's kicked you out the door. And then guys go and they beg and they plead them for the women back. It's like, please, 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 please take me back. And they're like laughing at you and, you know, saying that they gave you all those kind of chances and everything, and then you're out the door. And then the guy goes no contact, and these coaches say, well, go no contact, and, you know, go no contact until she calls you back. Don't do anything, you know, don't write those stupid letters. I don't know why guys would write a long-ass email or a stupid letter. There's no point, you know what I mean? Like, you're only making yourself look needy and desperate and a stalker. You know, some guys will show up at the woman's house and try to say, oh, I need to talk to you, Don't ever do that either. Don't do that. All you're going to do is get a call from the cops and a restraining order probably. So, like, you know what I mean? And I've known someone who's actually gotten a restraining order for doing that multiple times. So what I'm trying to say is the no contact rule doesn't work. Okay, so once a woman has made her mind up months ago and then finally gets to that point where she's going to break up with you, in her mind, it's done. It's over with. There's no point in doing no contact. My best advice to people is just to move on with their lives and focus on themselves, and focus, especially guys, focus on doing the things that made you great, that in that relationship or in a future relationship will make any woman want you. You focus on your goals, you focus on your purpose, and you focus on either going back to school or getting a job, and focus on working on yourself both mentally and physically. You know what I mean? Because obviously in a relationship we get lazy with everything, including our body image too. And I've been guilty of that myself. Get back to doing what you're doing and learn from your mistakes. Evaluate in your mind what went wrong in that relationship, or if it keeps going wrong with these relationships, you keep falling into the cycle, reevaluate the things that you're not doing and fix those problems, because obviously your partner isn't going to fix those problems. If they had problems too, it's up to them to fix it as well too. So ladies, guys, if you're bouncing around with relationships and you can't keep them, then obviously there are things both mentally, physically, and how you're going about your relationships all wrong. So you need to fix them, okay? Whether it's like you were on your phone too much, whether or not you didn't pay enough attention to your partner, whether or not you didn't pick up and help with the laundry or do the little things in the relationship, or, you know, you came off too temperamental sometimes, or you just didn't do certain things. You know, you got to fix these things, you know what I mean? Because they've all been ingrained in our heads. And as coaches like Coach Corey Wayne will say too, it usually starts when you're a kid and you're being raised by your parents. Their values will be ingrained into you, okay? So if you were like told as a child, and even Wayne and a few other ones have said this too, that if you were told as a child, oh, you suck, you're worthless, all this other stuff, and you know your parents didn't teach you good values, that's partly why you could be like this. And I'm being serious for a minute here, okay? Like, how did your parents do things? Like, how did your mom and dad do things, or the person who raised you? You know what I mean? That taught you your values. These are the things that you have to realize as well, okay? And I know I'm going on about this, but all I'm just trying to say is you have to start fixing those things and those problems in order to find that relationship that suits you, okay? You will find it eventually in order to keep that relationship, okay? Because if everyone becomes lazy and complacent and is just looking for a fling, it's never gonna happen. You're never gonna have a solid relationship if you don't fix what I just said, okay? It's a work in process. And even in the relationship too, it is a continuing work in process as well. You guys got to stay focused on what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So going back to what I said too, the no contact rule does not work at all. So once, especially the woman has made that decision and she's the dumper, she's never coming back, okay? I'm going to do some videos on the actual truth. I don't know what I'll call it too. It'll probably be, the rebound relationship, the truth about the rebound relationship, because eventually what's going to happen is the woman's going to end up going into a rebound right away. And I will explain that in another video coming up too. But all I'm trying to say is for the no contact rule, don't pay money to these coaches. Don't do anything. These programs, I bought a couple of these programs. They just explain to you, and then there's this English guy. He's like, "Hello, it's me. You can't use a no contact rule because she's just going to get over you and move on with your life. You need to buy my program, and you need to get on top of it and contact her." And that's a bunch of horse shit. Okay, when someone has made a decision about ending a relationship, they've always been thinking about it for a while. And it's usually things in the relationship that both parties have done wrong. But if it's the person who's dumping you, you've obviously done things to turn them off. And if they've already dumped you and did the fake breakup before, and they've given you another chance, and you're off your probation now, it's done. It's done. Just move on and focus with yourself. And focus on what I just mentioned before in this video, okay? So I don't need to repeat myself, but focus on your goals and everything and just move on to a new relationship that fits you. There will always be someone better to come along. And if for some strange reason in the future they contact you, it's up to you if that does happen. But if the person actually wanted to be with you and wanted to work things out, the dumper and you're the dumpee, and they contact you finally after a period of time, if it's been months or even a year down the line, why would you even want to bother with that? You know what I mean? They had the chance to do it before and to call you up and say, "I'm sorry for dumping you. Let's work things out." You know what I mean? If they miss you so much. But usually at that point too, like they've probably been through a rebound or they've probably been in another relationship and they're probably like, "Oh, I remember that relationship. I should have given him or her another chance." Really? Come on now. Seriously? All right. All right, folks. That's it today from Justin. And remember, the no contact rule doesn't work, especially if the other person has already been thinking about dumping you for a long time and has lost feelings for you a while back. These coaches will not tell you this. It's in a few of their videos. They mention it slightly. But once the mindset of one person has been made up, and usually they're the dumper, once they dump you, it's done. Okay? And if they take you back and put you on probation, the relationship could go on, but there's going to come a point where something else is going to come up, because obviously people just don't know how to be in relationships and just don't know how to change. That's why Coach Corey Wayne says there's only 3% of men who know how to actually be a true alpha male. And that's the other thing too, is like, if you're not asserting yourself, and I don't mean yell at your woman and say, "You can't do this and you can't do that." If you're not showing your strength in the relationship for being there for your woman and being there and not acting like a fucking pussy and, not being too needy and too nice all the time too, and giving it back to her and, being sarcastic and funny and showing that you can lead by example, then she's just going to leave you. And it's not all about the money and possessions or a house or anything. It's about what both people bring to the table in the relationship. And if one person is not bringing anything, the other person's going to get sick and tired of the same old shit and just say it's over. Okay? Men can be in these mindsets as well too. Just letting you know is the last thing I was going to say. Okay? And I've been there before too, where I've lost interest in a relationship a long time ago. And then eventually what happened was I broke up with her. I said it wasn't working anymore, and I was thinking about it for a while. Did I ever contact her again? No, I never contacted her again. I was over it. I was done. That's why I'm saying the no contact rule doesn't work, because in my mind, when I got over my ex-girlfriend a long time ago, and this was a long time ago, a few years back, I told her I didn't want to be with her anymore. I said we have nothing in common anymore. She did things to turn me off, and I walked away from that relationship, and I never looked back, and I never contacted her again to be in a relationship. Okay? There was only one instance I did contact her for a certain reason, but it was not to get back together with her. It was about something specific, and then we have never spoken again. I don't want to be back in that relationship. She wasn't worth my time, and she didn't want to do anything with her life to help improve hers, which would have also helped improve mine as well. So just letting you know about that. I know that sounds a little harsh, but that's exactly how I felt. And I never would be back in that relationship again, because my mindset was made up a couple months before I finally said that was enough. And I got together with her and I said, we need to break up. It's over and done with. And I don't want to be together with you anymore. And I don't want to be friends with you. And I just want you to go about your life. She cried like a little baby. She left my car. Never spoke to her. Only that one occasion, and then that was it. And that was almost like about 2 years later. So, and the reason that I had to speak to her too is because one of her friends was on an online dating website and was harassing me. And I gave it to her friend. I told her to fuck off. And that was it. You know what I mean? And I said, why is your friend contacting me? Oh, I'm so sorry, Justin. It's nice to hear from you. That's great. Have a nice life. Just letting you know. Oh, we're not friends anymore. Good. Just letting you know your friend's bugging me. Take care of it. End of story. So anyways, folks, I know I'm going on about this, but like I said, the no contact rule is a bunch of bullshit. Once a relationship is done, move forward with your life. There's always another good relationship out there. And hey, if you run into the other person in the future and things change, you never know. But remember, that will be a new relationship if you ever pursue that. But you also have to think back to at that point, and if you do consider a new relationship with a person from the past, that the same things, unless you grow mature as a person, and the coaches will all say this as well, unless you don't learn and be the best possible version of yourself, you're just going to fall into the same old patterns you did with that same person before. Just letting you know. Take it easy, folks. Bye for now.